But here we still have, we've read the papers every day. We're real impressed. So, but even here, I hear that the Anchorage paper used to be better, bigger, deeper. Right. So who is picking up the slack? And if climate change is what the scientists say it is, how do we get enough people to understand this so that we can begin acting? And that's something that my people think about all of the time. How do we tell the stories? How do we grab the attention? And we're so tiny. And I can give you an example of a story right now that's going on. There's a gubernatorial election in Florida. Charlie Crist and Rick Scott. And it's a very interesting race that we are covering from the climate perspective. Because even though it has gotten very little mention there, this is a pivotal election for the state of Florida. Because Charlie Crist, when he was governor, he believes in climate change, and he started putting things into place. And apparently, Rick Scott when he came into office, he took those things apart and said they weren't necessary. And he does not accept the reality that there is climate change. And if anyone here is a scientist, you know Florida's the state, I think it's considered the most at-risk state. And it's not even just the coastline, but the whole water supply system there is at risk, and the inland too, because of the unique geology there. So this is barely even being mentioned. And so one of our reporters is doing this story. And she is detailing, and I think the story will be up in the morning if all goes well. But she's been working on this for about a week. And she is showing what happened when Crist was in office. And it's not that we're supporting Crist. We don't know anything about him. In fact, he hasn't been very cooperative on this story. We've had a hard time getting his campaign to respond to our requests. But it's the fact that there's a clear choice here. And it's on a subject, you know, while everyone's talking about, what is it, the self-defense law in Florida, stand your ground, right? And all these things, which are really, really important. But it's above that is whether the state is going to be able to function, and you know, whether Miami is going to be underwater. And so and I worry because the media, you know, so much of the fragmented media is doing the bits and pieces. And the local reporters if you're a local reporter, I feel for them. You know, they're covering maybe 5 beats. They're running to do this thing, running to do that thing. They don't have the time. They have to do more with less. The editors at newspapers are doing more with less. And then you have the online publications that have their own varying ways that I'm not familiar with.